Hello, I'm Sally Pettitt and I'm Head of Horticulture here at Cambridge University Botanic Garden. Today I'm going to take you on a wellness wander around our Herbaceous Island Beds, which are full of colour and interest at the moment. And from here we'll then wander down towards and through the scented garden, where you can enjoy a further array of colour and interest. At this time of year, as we head along the South Walk towards the Hills Road exit as it now is, you come from the tranquil calm of the shady and green South Walk out into the open, and your eyes are met by this great splash of colour provided by our herbaceous beds. These really are at their prime at the moment, and you can already see great swathes of colour provided here by plants such as LYCHNIS, CORONARIA, odd drifts of Verbena bonariensis, and really putting on a show at the moment, the firecracker that is Crocosmia lucifer. And nestled down here at the front of the border, this gorgeous combination of Salvia nugtvlinda and Pennisetum orientale, which here you can see is bejewelled with lovely raindrops from last night's fresh rainfall that was very, very welcome. The sun is now appearing just to brighten up the scene, but it has been quite overcast, but a very still day. And in the corner of this bed, the giant oat grass, STIPA gigantea, is gently waving its seed heads in the breeze here. And one of my favourite combinations up here on the island beds is the lovely KNAUTIA macedonica, or the Macedonian SCABIOUS. You can see the pincushion heads here, which grows alongside this lovely grass, Nesella tenuissima. Then if we peer over and have a look at another of the borders, here we have a combination of Achillea tarmica and Veronicastrum lavandel tern. And the familiar spherical heads of Echinops retro just breaking through, and you can see here one with many, many small flowers which have erupted from these spherical heads. And this really is a great food source for bees, as you can see here. And heading around the corner, more Pennisetum orientale and beautiful drifts here of Miss Wilmot's ghost, Eryngium giganteum. Sitting alongside one of the cone flowers, this is ECHINACEA BRESSINGHAM hybrid. And here, emerging through the Eryngium, we have one of the daylilies, this beautiful burgundy background with this yellow golden stripe. This is Hemerocalis Stafford. and the plume flower, MACLEAYA, cordifolia, and another pincushion flower, this time CEPHALARIA gigantea. And you can see there is really very much variety of both colour and structure here, with beds typically grown or planted so that the lower plantings are in the foreground, with a mass of taller flowers in the centre of the beds. And here we can see what I think is a great addition to the beds, Raponticum cynaroides. It's rarely grown in herbaceous borders, but it really is a feast for the eyes. And at the front of the bed again, one of the lower plantings, GAURA LINDHEIMER, or the butterfly flower. This one is a variety called Summer Breeze. And under the shade of the oak here, just to take in one last glance at the view across the island beds before we head to the scented garden. So we're now on the approach to the scented garden, and here you can see the entrance down into the hollow of the garden, and towering above, one of the magnificent lime trees, very, very slender species. This is Tilia Chelsea Sentinel. But we're really here to admire the range of scented plants grown here. So just dripping over the wall's edge, we have Salvia officinalis purpurea, and one of the catmints, which is really a signature through the plantings here. This is Nepeta racemosa Walker's Low. And now Perovskia blue spire. And one of the umbels, which is a magnificent bee attractant. So this is FOENICULUM VULGARE purpureum, or the bronze fennel. And as you wander through, it's always worth just gently touching and rubbing your hands amongst some of the foliage. So here we have one of the rosemarys, which is very, very early flowering, but it creates this beautiful mound. Doesn't get too big. This is a Rosemarinus officinalis Pat Vlasto. And on the other side of the path, a mass of the butterfly mint, which just is full of flower at the moment and has very soft grey foliage, very, very soft to the touch. And also pouring over the wall, one of the cotton lavenders. This is Santolina E.A. Bowles. And it has almost button-like flowers, very, very dense heads of many tiny, tiny flowers here on this lovely grey, downy foliage again, quite feathery, you can see in there. I'm just now going to take in some of the delights of the pots here. So this is the chocolate cosmos, Cosmos atrosanguineus. It's a very simple daisy-like flower of this deepest burgundy, and it gets its common name from the scent which is released from the flower, and is very, very chocolatey. It's really one for the chocolate addict. And another gorgeous combination in a planting here, Pelargonium pink capitatum and Salvia Many of the shrubs in the scented garden here have finished flowering, but still creating beautiful backdrop. And something we looked at earlier is the Tilia Chelsea Sentinel, which you can see here has almost twisted its flowers round or leaves around, and so you can see the silvery backs of those, but you can also pick out masses of flowers just dripping from this, and it is full of bees particularly, and does give off a magnificent scent. And here we're just going to take a look at one of the scented pelargoniums. This is Pelargonium Lady Plymouth, so it is in flower, but it's really grown for this variegated foliage, which gives off a very gentle pepperminty scent. And one of the more architectural features in the garden, this is a perennial Salvia sclaria, and although it is scented, it's maybe not something that you might enjoy a brush with. The common name is Sweaty Betty, and it really isn't perhaps the most attractive scent at all. But as we jump across to the other side of the path again, here we can admire the beautiful blue flowers of Agastache rugosa licorice blue. And again, the crushed foliage of this is lightly scented. And if we glance back across the scented garden, you can again see the value of adding textural interest to your garden. So we have colour here, much more contained than the herbaceous borders, where there's a riot of colour of brilliant reds and yellows and blues. Here we have a combination of softer yellows and blues, and it works to great effect, but particularly when you see the forms of the plants as well. So here you can see the flowers of the Agastache piercing up on contrast to the mounds and flowers of things like the curry plant and the cotton lavenders. Just a lovely sight to finish today's wellness wander. Thank you for joining me again, and we look forward to you joining us soon.